Assalamualaikum and good day to all. So we continue on project management. Okay, kalau kita revise semula apa yang kita telah belajar pada minggu lepas, kita telah belajar tentang project network diagram, dan daripada project network diagram we are able to determine the critical path. Okay, with the critical path we are able to determine the expected project duration and also the critical activities, okay, dan juga slack time. Okay, slack time ni ialah masa yang kita dibenarkan untuk delay bagi beberapa aktiviti tertentu dalam projek tanpa menjejaskan the whole project duration. In reality, the projects are more complicated than what we have learned before, and they often contain more than 100 of activities, and therefore the computation of the whole project duration become more complex, and usually this is done by software. So for the software to do the computation, 4 pieces of information are necessary, and these are: the first one is earliest start time, or ES. So this is earliest start time for an activity to take place, not for the project. Okay, maksudnya masa paling awal yang possible untuk suatu aktiviti itu dimulakan. Okay, kemudian earliest finish time ataupun EF, masa paling awal untuk sesuatu aktiviti itu dihabiskan. Okay, and then latest start time for the activity is masa paling lambat untuk sesuatu aktiviti itu dimulakan. And last one, LF, latest finish time, masa paling lambat untuk sesuatu aktiviti itu dihabiskan. Okay, so this information are for the activity and not for the project. Let's see an example on how to compute earliest start time and earliest finish time for an activity based on forward pass. Okay, so kita ada this table again, okay, yang ada activity A sampai F, and then the predecessor activity, and then duration, okay, dalam weeks. Okay, ada antara you yang tak faham macam mana ataupun keliru bagaimana nak read this table. Okay, saya akan ambil contoh untuk row activity B. So, untuk activity B, predecessornya ialah activity A. Ini menunjukkan activity A berlaku sebelum activity B. Okay, activity A comes first and then activity B. Duration 4 weeks ni adalah menunjukkan it takes 4 weeks to complete activity B, dan bukannya daripada A ke B ialah 4 minggu. Okay, itu adalah salah. A will take 5 weeks. Okay, macam mana-mana pun aktiviti A hanya akan complete dalam masa 5 minggu sebelum aktiviti B takes place, berdasarkan row pertama tadi, row A tu. Okay, seterusnya aktiviti D. Aktiviti D predecessornya ialah aktiviti B. Ini menunjukkan aktiviti B berlaku sebelum aktiviti D. Okay, and this 6 weeks menunjukkan it takes 6 weeks to complete activity D, dan bukannya daripada B ke D ialah 6 minggu. Okay, itu adalah salah. B, tempoh untuk complete B ialah tetap 4 minggu seperti dalam row untuk activity B tu. Okay, so this is the activity on node diagram based on the previous slide that we have learned. Okay, untuk compute earliest start time and earliest finish time, we have to understand this table. We have a column for activity and then duration, earliest start time di mana kita akan masukkan nilai earliest start time, and EF, earliest finish time. Okay, so kita mula dengan activity A. Activity A kita tahu duration ialah 5 minggu, so kita akan masukkan duration sebagai 5. Okay, untuk earliest start time, since A ialah aktiviti pertama dalam projek, bermakna A akan bermula pada minggu kosong lah, minggu apa, week 0. Okay, A takes 5 weeks to complete, so 0 plus 5, earliest finish time would be 5. After A ialah aktiviti B and C, berdasarkan table kan, sebab predecessor untuk aktiviti B dan C ialah A. Okay, so B duration ialah 4 minggu berdasarkan table dan C duration ialah 5 minggu berdasarkan table. So earliest start time for B would be week 5 sebab A akan complete pada minggu ke-5. Oleh itu B hanya boleh dimulakan pada minggu ke-5. So B will take 4 weeks to complete. So 5 plus 4 meaning B will complete on week 9. Begitu juga dengan C. C hanya boleh dimulakan pada week ke-5 iaitu after activity A habis. Dan C akan complete pada minggu ke-10 iaitu 5 plus 5 durationnya. So after B ialah activity D. Okay, so D duration 6 minggu. D hanya boleh dimulakan selepas B tamat pada minggu ke-9. Jadi earliest start time for D ialah week 9 dan akan tamat pada week 15. Okay, 9 tambah 6, 15. Selepas C ialah aktiviti E, sama juga pengiraannya. E hanya boleh mula pada minggu ke-10 dan akan tamat pada minggu ke-10 tambah 3 ialah minggu ke-13. So E akan tamat pada minggu ke-13. Okay, since D and E are predecessor activities for activity F, so after D dengan E ialah activity F with duration of 4 weeks. So F akan mula pada minggu, okey, kita perlu pilih sama ada minggu ke-15 ke minggu ke-13. Okey, disebabkan predecessor activity adalah both D and E, ini bermakna F hanya boleh berlaku selepas D dan E tamat. Jadi kita perlu pilih minggu yang paling lambat lah, the larger value which is 15. Okay, maknanya selepas both D and E complete, then we can start F, meaning earliest start time for F ialah 15 minggu ke-15 dan tamat pada minggu ke-19. Therefore, the whole project will take the total duration of 19 weeks based on critical path daripada A ke B, B ke D dan D ke F. Okay, critical path ialah the longest duration lah. Okay. Here we have another example to calculate the latest start time and latest finish time for an activity based on backward pass. So yang dikatakan backward pass ialah kita akan buat calculation bermula daripada F kemudian ke belakang lah D, E, B, C dan A. Okay, just now in the previous slide we have a forward pass. Forward pass maknanya calculation kita bermula daripada activity A kemudian ke B, C, D, E dan akhirnya F. So we have again this table which have the information on earliest start time, activity, duration and earliest finish time. So as you can see here, the value remain in this diagram, okay, for the earliest start time, activity and earliest finish time. But we now have to add other values which is latest start time and latest finish time in the below box. Okay, we already knew that the project must finish in 19 weeks based on the forward pass. So project duration ni tidak boleh ditukar. Okay, it must remain 19 weeks. Maknanya activity F must finish on week 19. Okay, so kita bermula calculation untuk activity F. Latest start time would be latest finish time LF would be week 19. Okay, activity F mesti siap pada week 19. Okay, so LS, latest start time for activity F would be 19 minus 4, 15. Okay, so we have 15 here. And this 15, the values 15 will be inserted to activity D and activity E, since D and E are both predecessor for activity F. So D and E, the latest finish time would be week 15. Okay, maknanya D dengan E kena habis paling lambat pada week 15, so that F boleh mula pada week 15. Okay, so latest start time untuk activity D ialah 15 tolak 6 iaitu 9. Latest start time untuk activity E ialah 15 tolak 3 which is week 12. Okay, Kemudian untuk aktiviti B, latest finish time is week 9. Okay. Latest start time 9 minus 4, which is 5. Similar to activity C, latest finish time would be week 12. Latest start time would be 12 minus 5. 12 minus 5, week 7. Okay, now we know that A is predecessor activity for activity B and C. So, which value should we take as latest finish time for activity A? Is it 5 or is it 7? Okay. So the answer is we have to take the smaller value, which is week 5. Okay. Kenapa? Okay. Logiknya ialah aktiviti A perlu habis sebelum aktiviti B dan aktiviti C mula. Okay. Since aktiviti B paling lewat boleh mula pada week kelima. Jadi aktiviti A must finish at week 5. Okay. That's why you take the smaller value. Okay. So latest start time for activity A ialah 5 minus 5 lah, iaitu 0. Okay, kalau kita perhatikan, kita ada critical path iaitu aktiviti daripada A, B, D dan F. Okay, A, B dan D dan F ialah activities on the critical path, dan kalau kita perasan, nilai untuk ES dan LS adalah sama, nilai untuk EF dan LF adalah sama. Okay. Maknanya tidak berubah masa earliest start time and latest start time, okay, earliest finish time and latest finish time sama saja. Okay. Yang hanya ada different ialah untuk aktiviti C dan aktiviti E. Contohnya aktiviti C paling awal earliest start time is week 5, latest start time ialah week 7. Bermakna aktiviti C boleh berlaku delay. Sama ada you nak mula lambat sikit 2 minggu ataupun you nak habiskan aktiviti C lambat sikit 2 minggu. So 2 minggu itu ialah total slack time. Okay, masa yang dibenarkan untuk delay tanpa menjejaskan the whole project duration. Okay, so formula dia ialah total slack for an activity ialah LF minus EF ataupun LS minus ES. It would give the same answer. Okay. Okay, tadi pengiraan tadi adalah secara manual calculation lah based on the diagram. But of course, you can do this in Excel. Okay, you boleh masukkan formula tersebut berdasarkan pemahaman you daripada manual calculation tadi dalam bentuk Excel. So here I give you the link for in YouTube for you to take a look on how to calculate this in Excel. Okay. Maybe you can try to apply this for your FYP project ataupun plan design project based on some of the deadline given by your lecturer. Okay, next topic is on project crashing and time cost trade-off. Okay, in a project, sometimes the project manager is confronted with the problem and he has to decide to reduce the schedule completion time of a project. In other words, the manager must finish the project sooner than indicated by the CPM ataupun PERT network analysis. Okay, the schedule that just now we have learned. So how to reduce the project duration? First, okay, untuk memendekkan tempoh projek, selalunya kita terpaksa tambah kita punya manpower ataupun terpaksa buat overtime ataupun terpaksa tambah material and buy more equipment. Okay, this means that when we have to reduce project, we probably have to increase the overall project cost. Okay, therefore as a project manager, if you want to make decision whether to reduce the project duration or not, you must analyze, okay, the trade off between the time and cost. Okay, maknanya you kena tengoklah macam mana you dapat pendekkan masa dan berapa banyak kos yang you terpaksa tambah. Okay, when we shorten the project duration by reducing the time of critical project activity at a cost, this is referred as project crashing. So project crashing ialah apabila kita memendekkan tempoh projek dengan memendekkan tempoh critical activity, okay, activity on the critical path tu dengan penambahan cost. So ini adalah dikatakan project crashing. Okay, so crashing selalunya is achieved by devoting more resources to the activities to be crashed. Okay, so the cost increase, and since the activities on the critical path would determine the project duration, therefore only activities on critical path are the candidates to be crash. Okay, so sebabnya kita tahu project duration adalah bergantung kepada the duration of activities on the critical path. Jadi kita hanya fokus pada critical activities sahaja untuk dianalisis, yang mana sesuai untuk di crash. Okay, okay, here we have an example on a project to build a house in which okay, normally it takes 12 weeks to complete activity A with the cost of 3,000. Okay, so ini adalah activity A lah. Okay, tempohnya ialah 12 minggu, costnya 3,000 normally. So the contractor needs to shorten the project. So based on his experience, it is estimated that activity A can be completed in 7 weeks. Okay, instead of 12 weeks. Okay, the activity can be completed in 7 weeks, but it will cost 5,000 instead of 3,000. Okay, so from this information, we can calculate that the total crash cost is 5,000 minus 3,000, which is 2,000, and crash time, the total crash time would be 12 weeks minus 7 weeks, which is 5 weeks. Okay, okay. Next, you can calculate the crash cost per week, okay, which is the total crash cost over total crash time, 2,000 over 5 weeks equal to 400 per weeks. Okay, jadi daripada sini you tahu, okay, setiap minggu yang you crash tu nilainya ialah additionally 400. You kena tambah 400. Okay, so you boleh pilih, kontraktor boleh pilih sama ada dia nak crash hanya 1 minggu, hanya 2 minggu, 3 minggu ataupun go to the maximum 5 weeks. Okay, kalau dia pilih untuk crash 1 minggu, maknanya dia kena tambah 400 lah. Okay, kalau dia pilih untuk crash 2 minggu, so dia kena tambah 800. Okay, daripada normal cost tadi. Okay, so usually you can crash the least expensive activity that is on critical path. Okay, selalunya kita akan buatkan semua buatkan table dan kita akan senaraikan crash cost per week for all the critical activities. Okay, dan kita boleh pilih lah yang mana yang termurah untuk sebagai aktiviti yang untuk di crash. Risk management is necessary for every project. So risk, what are risks? Risks are events that have undesirable consequences. For example, delays, increased costs, inability to meet the specification required, the quality required. So risks are common in every project, and it is usually highest at the beginning of the project and lowest toward the end of the project. So risk management and evaluation must be done before the start of the project. Okay, and sometimes it is repeated during the project, okay, from time to time. So what are the process involved when we try to evaluate risk or manage the risk? First, we will have to identify as many as possible potential risks. Okay, brainstorm, and then we analyze and assess the risk. For example, using the common equation, risk equal to frequency times severity. Okay, and then we will work to minimize the probability of the risk occurrence. Okay, what are things that we can do to minimize the possibility that risk can occur. And then we have to also establish contingency plan, okay, to mitigate the risk if the risk occur. Okay, what are the technologies for managing project? Of course, first we have CAD, okay, to help us to design the model and see how the model works, okay, without having to build the actual one first. And then groupware, okay, Lotus Notes, you can try to search on your own. Okay, and then we also have project management software to help us to coordinate and also plan our project and monitor the progress. So this, for example, CA Super Project, Harvard Total Manager, Microsoft Project, SureTrack Project Manager, Timeline. So for the current time, you can try to search for Microsoft Project, since Microsoft Project is widely used in the industry, okay, for the project management, especially in the consultancies companies. What are the advantages of using a PM software, project management software? So first of all, it inputs a methodology and also provide logical planning structure. So when you put your process in the project management software, so people can see what are the process that they should follow and what are the structure of the project. It enhances the team communication because all the team members can access this planning, okay, and it can also flag constraint violations, okay, meaning when you insert your progress in the project management, you are able to see if there are some activities that have violate your planning structure or your methodology. And then it also provide automatic report format, so you just have to insert your progress, and then it has multiple level of report, okay, for each activity. It has their own template for the format. It has their own format template for the report, and you are able to see what if scenario, okay. You are able to see what if scenario in your planning lah, okay, and generates various chart types, okay. But the software also provide some template for the charts for you to insert any information or to present your information for the clients and for your team members. So here is another link on the Microsoft project software that you can use to manage project. Okay, so the software let you to plan your activities, schedule it, okay, give deadlines, arrange your resources, and monitor the progress of your project. So you can try to take a look on your own. Perhaps this would be beneficial for you when you start working later. So there are some ethical issues that happen, okay, usually happen during when we handle the project. Okay, some of these, for example, temptation to understate the cost, okay, withhold the important information from the client, and which is sometimes is related to the safety, okay, and then misleading status report, okay, reports that are not accurate, or falsifying records, okay, records that are not correct. Okay, compromising worker safety, and also approving substandard work, okay, work that does not meet the required standard or required specification. So that is the end of lecture 2, project management. I hope it will be fruitful for you to apply for your projects during this final year, and we will start on the next topic, topic 3 after this.